Hi, Mom, it's me, your son. I just wanted to wish you a happy Mother's Day. Love you.
Happy Mother's Day, everyone! This is Janice in Manchester, England. I'm going to be reading today's salvation story. Sandra T. from West Virginia writes, "This is my salvation story. My early years, I was raised in church. Not by my parents, but by my grandparents who came every Sunday morning to pick my brother and I up. In my middle teens, my whole life changed, not by anyone, but by me. I became pregnant, and this being in the 1950s, this brought shame to my family, and my mother was worried what people would think of her, and soon after I was forced to leave home, and I had nowhere to go but to the man who got me pregnant. That life proved to be nothing but torture. I had children who did not see their dad very much, and that was because he was always out womanizing and drinking. And when he did come home, he didn't have time for the children, and he always rented places where we had no running water, no heat other than wood. Guess who had to find and chop the wood? During the time I was with him, I was beaten, bruised, had my head split open by him. I did get out of that situation after a few years of abuse and begging for food for my children. Let's move on a few years, about 35 years later, and look at my life now. I had a best friend who was raised in church, and she would always say, "When are you going to give your life to God?" And I would say, "Oh, one of these days, when I am ready, I will." So that day came for me in November 1999. My life was still in turmoil, and even though I was not in the abusive relationship that I went through years before, I still needed some peace. I needed someone to tell me it was going to be all right. I remembered what my best friend was always saying. "When are you going to give your life to God?" And I would remember saying, "When I get ready, I will." Well, that evening, I was ready. My life and my whole insides was just torn apart because so much was just going on. So I said, "God," I wondered if he knew who I was. I said, "God, I need you. I really need you. And if you would accept this dirty soul, then I would do my best, my very best, to praise you and to love like you love me. I would do my best to serve you." And that's when I got the Holy Spirit in my heart. I knew the next day I had to tell my best friend. I started going to church, reading my Bible. Now I am able to look back and see all what God has brought me through, especially the last 10 years. I have had 3 major health issues, and God has brought me through every one of them. Here I sit today in my little house, able to do pretty much what I want to, and I praise His name for that. I still have my ups and downs, like we all do, but I know I can go to my Father and receive the peace and comfort that can only come from Him. God bless you all. Wow, another powerful and very touching testimony. Thank you, Sandra T, for sharing your faith journey with us. Now I would like to take this opportunity to wish my mother-in-law a beautiful and blessed Mother's Day. Love you lots. Okay, I believe it's time for me to turn this back over to my husband Steve, all the way in West Virginia. Are you there, Steve?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, thank you. And that's our international reporter in the field, Janice Peave, coming from Manchester, England. Thank you, Janice. That was a beautiful story. You know, as you were reading that, I was thinking, what is God really saving us from here? We know that this body is but temporary, and I think we'll find that answer in Ecclesiastes 12:7, and it says, "And the dust returns to the earth as it was, and the spirit returns to God who gave it." And you know, our prayer has to be that when our spirit returns to God, we will have accepted the saving grace of Jesus Christ, that we may remain with God for all eternity. Because you know that this soul, because it is the very breath of God breathed into us, that we will experience everlasting joy or everlasting misery. That's what it all comes down to. There's nothing that we're going to carry out of this world in the form that we are right now. Our spirit will return to God, and God will judge us, whether we are worthy through His Son or whether we are not because we have denied His Son. Take this time to recognize and remember those that have lost their mothers. At this time of year, it can be very hard. So just know and remember that mother's love that only she was able to give. As we remember Janice's mother, Maisie, who passed away on December the 2nd, 2009.